Hi, welcome back. Today we are going to be making this card. It's a showstopper card from Madetosurpise by Sam Calcott. And Sam Calcott is a YouTube content creator who makes lots of really amazing elaborate cards and other paper craft items. So you definitely have to check her out if you haven't before. And she also has a line called Madetosurprise with Craft Stash. It's a UK based company. And so I have made many of her cards and items just following her directions with really basic supplies on YouTube. And I wanted to try some of her dies. And it makes a big kind of fancy card. So this is the base plate. Okay. It is, 7 inches across. So it is larger than a regular die cut machine. So say like a Platinum 6. And so you need one of those larger machines. I have the Anagraphen Empress, and it has a larger plate that you can use. So I can use that, and it's, I believe, 9 inches in height. And then it comes also with, I'll just put these here so it's a bit easier to see. It comes with these dies. So this base cuts out this. Okay, so that's the base. And it has some score lines. I'm just gonna zoom out a little. It has some score lines to help fold it all together. And then it comes with these nesting pieces. There are 2 different large ovals, and then there's the nesting layering pieces that can be used in both. So the main center oval is the shorter of the 2 big ones, and then the larger one can go on the edge. So you can either add this on the side, or you can just use the other dies, which are here, to, this is the larger one, which are here to just layer up some paper. Okay, so you can do that, layer up some paper. But today I'm actually adding some extra pieces on the side, making the card a little bit larger. And then those can also be layered like that. And so I've done a couple already. So there's one. I used this to cut out the white. This one, the next one, to cut out the holographic, so it gives it a little bit of shine. And then this to cut out the inside. And then you can use these to cut out pieces and layer them up here on the edges, because of the score, this will be 2 parts. Okay, and then these can be used to layer up here. Sorry, it's a bit crooked. Now, I'm only going to be using the larger of these because I like the way it looked. That way, I'm just going to be cutting some holographic card out of those pieces. And then as I was doing that, as I was cutting out these pieces, the rectangular pieces, and because there's all these score lines, you need 16. So 8 on this side and then 8 on the back if you're decorating the back. Some people don't really decorate the back. I thought, instead of die cutting this piece 16 times, you could easily just cut this down to, I believe it's 2 inches. Looks like 2 inches. Yeah. So it's 2 inches by half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And you just cut that down on your trimmer and cut 16 of those. It would be way easier. You could do it the way I did it. I cut them down as I was cutting other things. So I would have the holographic paper, cutting this as I was cutting out all the ovals. So this project does take quite a bit of time to cut out all the parts. Like, there is no doubt about that. Okay, so I did some of that in advance because I didn't want to have an entire video of just cutting down papers. I did not think that would be something people would want to watch. So I did cut down most of them. I'm going to cut down a couple more. All right, so I'm just going to put that aside. I will show you the papers I am using. So I'm using some Echo Park paper. It's called Birthday Wish Girl, and it is from 2022. And my daughter is a big fan of critters, and so, like, animals and that, especially dogs. And so I thought I would use this. And I really liked the colors. So these are the papers I used. I used this one as a couple of the backgrounds. And then I used these ones to layer the images, the stamped images I am cutting out and coloring. So they're more like solids, even though they're not a solid. It's like, this is a tone on tone pink with dark pink stars. I might not be able to see those stars. And then this one is also just like a slight darker tone on tone. So I thought those would be a good choice for the card. And then because I didn't really like how stark white this was against the white in the background of this paper, I decided to cut a second piece of the pink and just glue it on top. So I cut 2 of these and glued one, and then the back is going to stay white because I have some darker colors. Okay, so this one is just an extra. That's another thing I do when I'm making cards like this. I will cut out some extra pieces so that when I go back to do it again, even if the whole project isn't done, parts of the project will be done, and it just makes it seem a bit easier, especially on one of these where there just seems to be so many parts to it. Okay, and then, so I'm going to cut out a few more pieces. So I'll put this paper aside. I will grab my cutting plates there. So I'm gonna make some more layers. So I think I need another of the blue. Let's actually more of a teal color. And just stick that on there. And I run it through. Now I have enough of these rectangle pieces, but this would be one of those times that I would just put a piece with the rectangle, run it through, and it would be done. So because there's only one of each of these, it takes a bit of time. Now, some people actually buy multiples for that reason. I'm not one of those people. All right, so that cuts out this really nicely. And then that will make that top layer. I'm just gonna put that aside. And since my layer is going to be covering the holographic paper, and this paper I got from Michael's, I cut out some of those rectangles out of the centers. So I'm gonna glue that together. Okay. Even the back is so pretty with the cakes. So I'm going to glue that on top. And the nice thing is these layer on both the tall ovals and the other ovals. So I've done 2 ovals for the side. Okay, so these are going to go basically like that. And then this center one is going to have this piece. So I'm going to do another cut with that. I just like to make sure that I'm putting this on the correct one. So this one is going to have that on one side and then another one on the other side. I'm just gonna scooch it up so it's easier to see. Okay, so I'm going to do that again, and then I'm going to glue this part together. So those are the two sides. And then I have a piece for here. No, I'm supposed to have a piece for here, but now I can't seem to find where it's gone. Okay, so I didn't cut them out because there was a bit of a change of plan. So originally I was gonna have this all white and I didn't need this piece. But now that I've changed it, I am using this piece. So I'm going to layer those up. Onto here. So you just try and even that out of it. Stick those down. And the only thing I don't like about using holographic is if glue gets on it, it is so difficult to get it off. So that's a bit better. Okay, and that's gonna go here. And then I'm gonna just stick these down. Okay, so now I just wanted to show you the difference. So here is the one that goes in the middle. And see how it's just slightly shorter, see that, than the ones that go on the side. Okay, so that's going to be, actually, it's going to look like this on this side. And then on the back, I'm going to have these two, and I've already stuck down the back one. And on the front here, I'm going to have the number 9, because that's how old she's turning. And a little dog with a little hat. And I just realized I hadn't colored that. And I just colored it with some Copics. I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it a bit better. So I'm just going to glue that down. And then decorate a little bit. And these were from a Lawn Fawn set. It was an add-on set. So this is the set. It's a dog one Yappy birthday add-on, it's called. And I'm going to use the sentiment too. Happy Woof Day to you. So I'm going to put that together, and I am also going to glue on the holographic pieces that I cut out here. And I am not putting on any more paper. I'm just doing the holographic for there and here because I just want it to be really shiny. I think she'll really like that. Okay, so I'm going to glue that all down. So I'm just gluing this one down. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to glue this one down. This one down. Evenly space it. Turn it over. I'm going to look down here. Okay. Right. So that is one side and that is the other. Okay, so I glued everything down except I wanted just to show you a little tip that I noticed. So as I was gluing these down, because you are doing this kind of freehand to keep it straight, I realized that if you work from one end to the other, it's a lot easier than going up and down. You can just kind of look at the one to one side and try to make it straight across. So I wanted to mention that. I also cut out a couple extras. A couple of them, the corners got chomped a bit. I guess I wasn't careful about how I laid down the die. So then that's what the bases will look like. And I glued down for the front. That's gonna go here. I'm just gonna add that. So I added my little dog with his hat. I colored that in. And then I added a little balloon dog at the top there. I might add some little extra embellishments from the sticker sheet here if I feel like it's necessary. And I might put some words here. I'm not sure. I really like the paper, so I don't know if I'm going to add anything else there. And then on the back, I'm going to have the other dogs on this side. So I'll have one kind of running, and then one guy over here. And then I've got some little balloon guys. And then I think I'll put a sentiment or something in here. And then this one is supposed to have like a little cupcake, but it didn't cut very well, so I have to restamp that one. So I think like a cool little sentiment or something in the middle there. So I'm not sure. I have to kind of play around with that a bit. And then I'm going to use in the center, I'm going to stamp the sentiment from this dog set. And it says, "Happy Wolf Day to you." Excuse me. Okay. So, because I want it on this oval, I lined it up. Just gonna make sure. I don't know why I moved that magnet. Yeah. And I don't want the whole thing to stamp, so I've covered it with a Post-it. Now you can cut these, but I just prefer to do that. So I'm going to stamp it. I'll peel this off so I don't get ink everywhere. And then I just carefully, I mean, you could do it without the, I think I'm gonna have to redo that. You could try to just carefully do it this way. Okay. And then I don't need the ink pad, but it doesn't always work out for me. I tend to, when it comes to ink, I tend to make a bit of a mess. Okay, and then I'm just gonna clean that off and do "To You." Now, because this hangs over like that, I'm going to just turn it over like that. Turn this over. I like to keep all of my stamping in that corner. And then I'm going to use the non-inky part to kind of block that out, because I'm worried that I'm going to get black across there. And so I'm going to do the "To You." And then the whole thing is upside down, I realize, but it'll be right side out. Oh, see, this is what happens. I forgot to take this off. So now I have to cover that. So maybe with a paw print. Let's do a paw print. Or like a little dauber or something, or a little jewel or something. We'll try paw print first and see if that works. So let's see, I'm gonna do that. Little paw print. Got my ink pad. Just grab my block. I don't know where my small ones are, so I'm gonna have to use this big one. Okay. Let's see. Not bad. I think I can fill that in with a bit of marker and that'll be fine. Or the other option is to just turn it over and do it again. All right, I seem to have lost the footage of my card, the final product. So this is what it looks like. So that's one side. Put the little message here. I popped this up onto some foam tape here, this sticker, and then the other side looks like this. So I just used some stickers from the sticker sheet, added some stamps, birthday girl, Make-A-Wish. This side had the white, and this side I used some pink cardstock from the collection. And it stands up like this, so it stands up really nicely. It folds like this, so you can fold it kind of any which way, and it fits into a 5x7 envelope. So this is about 6 3/4, maybe 1/8 of an inch below 7, and then this is 4 3/4. So it should fit in a 5x7 envelope, unless it's a really tight one, then you might have to make a looser envelope yourself. But yeah, they're really fun. You can definitely make this without dies. You just would use some oval nesting dies to make. You can make you would have to just cut this apart and add the ovals. I mean, you could cut into this detail, but it could just be one piece of rectangle, cardstock at, let's see, what do we got here? 9.5 by 7, and then you would score it at every, what is this, 2 1/4? It's like 2 and what is that, 5/8? And then you could just put the ovals there, or whatever shape you want to do, decorate them, and you could make up your own. So I feel like it wouldn't be too difficult. This was just nice to do with all the ovals and all the pieces. It made it a little bit easier. All right, hope you enjoyed my video. Take care. Bye for now.